Hi, Emmanuel. This past week, the children of Emmanuel and our wider community experienced another fun and faith-filled Luther Road Summer Day Camp led by the counselors of Luther Springs. What a gift it was to see children laughing and playing, singing, praying, creating, and learning that they are loved by God. Thank you to everyone who helped make this week possible. Those who sponsored the campers, those who checked them in and checked them out, who helped provide snacks and served them, who collected the crafts, who provided the meals for their counselors themselves. Thank you to Jocelyn, our Director of Operations and Finance, for hosting the counselors in her home this past week. And a special thank you to Claudia Henry and to Aiden Capps, our Camp Program Director, for their leadership, without which this camp week would not have been possible. Thank you, Emmanuel, for coming together once again for the sake of our children and our neighbors and the good news of Jesus Christ. And now, I want to invite us to ask an important question. What happens next? July 1st will mark 3 years since I began serving as your lead pastor here at Emmanuel. And before I arrived, Interim Pastor John Mako walked with our congregation through 40 days of prayer and discernment. And out of that season of prayer, one of the clearest hopes that you named was the desire to grow younger as a congregation. That desire is not simply about numbers. It's about faithfulness. It's about children and youth knowing that they belong to God and that they belong in this church and that there are adults in this congregation who will walk beside them, who will listen to them, who will pray for them, who will encourage them, and who will help them know Christ and make Christ boldly known. This spring, a family from Emmanuel anonymously committed $20,000 to create what's called the Venice Emmanuel Grant, which will help children and youth from Emmanuel and from our sister congregations of the Mid-Gulf Conference attend one of the 3 Novus Way Lutheran summer camps here in the Southeast United States. Luther Ridge and Luther Rock in North Carolina and Luther Springs in Northern Florida. And because of this generosity, every youth now has the opportunity to attend camp and to experience a week of faith and friendship, worship, and Christian community together. But then we ask ourselves, what happens when a young person comes home from camp filled with this faith and joy and all these questions and all this energy? How do we help that experience continue to grow in our youngest members and neighbors? How do we help that young person stay connected to Jesus, to our church, to other younger people walking along this journey of faith? And that is where camp reunion nights come in. We are envisioning 4 to 6 gatherings a year initially where campers from across our conference can reconnect here at Emmanuel with their camp friends. They can invite new friends from their neighborhood. They can come together and worship. They can share a meal, play games, laugh and pray, and have a space to talk honestly and openly about the joys and concerns in their lives. These nights would also offer parents a few hours of respite and reconnection with one another, knowing that their children are being cared for in a safe and faith-filled environment. This is one of the first steps to building a renewed children, youth, and family ministry here at Emmanuel. And here is the invitation for you. We are forming a grant team to help prepare for a Vision to Action grant through the Florida Bahamas Synod. Vision to Action invests in innovative ministries that help the church respond faithfully to a changing world. And we believe that these camp reunion nights are exactly the kind of ministry that can engage and encourage and equip young people as disciples of Jesus Christ through faith formation, through leadership development, through community building. This team will work with Pastor Dan and myself during the month of July and into August to prepare the grant application. And we need your help to develop a communication plan, to name the measures of impact that will occur, to anticipate any challenges we'll face, to identify leaders in our congregation, to connect with our community partners, to shape a timeline, to prepare a budget. There's lots of things that we need your help with. So today, I'm not simply asking for volunteers to fill a slot. I am inviting you who have the gifts that could be a part of what God is doing next amongst the children and youth of Emmanuel in our community. Maybe you have experience writing grants. Maybe you understand communications and planning and budgeting. Maybe you have a passion for youth ministry and hospitality or working with our community partners. Maybe you just have a heart for young people and want them to be and know that church is a place where they are seen and loved and called by God. If that is you, we want to talk with you. So please pray about whether the Spirit may be stirring in you to participate on this team. And to learn more or to just say yes, contact the church office by phone or by email, or speak with Pastor Dan or myself following worship at one of our faith forums or coffee hours. Emmanuel, God has already been generous to us. God has already given through this congregation gifted leaders and children and youth and partners in a mission together. And by God's grace, we now have the opportunity to join that work and help make these camp reunion nights possible. Now let's all take a deep Holy Spirit breath together as we enter into this time of worship.